are trying to create like a news story, and they'll just find a pawn, and they're willing to create anything. So anyway, it's pretty bad. Yoga did help, and somehow I got on the yoga train. They had a lot of donation-based yoga, so I gotta thank, you know, Diana and John Vitarelli for creating Dhyana Yoga, and the donation-based yoga that spun off of them allowed more accessibility to people who can't pay the normal prices on a regular basis. And if you take yoga, the benefits are you practice at least 3 times a week to gain any benefits, but even once a week. Once you take it once, then you want to go back. It's hard to explain. You would just want to keep going because you would feel most people would feel safe and secure. They're among people, they're in a community, and that is so helpful to fight the enemy of the state scenario, the idea, you know, of making someone look like enemy of the state. And you're like, I didn't do any, I'm like minding my own business. I thought I finally found a network of people to hang out with, or at least, you know, to work with, find work through, and have a life. And then I get walloped with this. Like, no one will allow Sharon to ever be content, safe, and secure, and happy. And, you know, considering, you know, the education and the work that I've done, it shouldn't be an issue, right? So people came to me and needed to scare me on a regular basis. And we go back in history, it's almost a weird theme where here and there are weird, scary things that happened. And it's like, were people setting up and orchestrating things even through childhood? Like, were people learning to do something while I was growing up? Like, say, step-family members or similar. Were they taught to do things and then it snowballed into like a major all-out, you know, game? And you become a pawn of someone's like major game, which could be political in nature. I don't know what it is, but someone, sort of like in the song Coldplay, you know, he takes you back looking at numbers and figures and sort of reviewing things that have happened in your life. It's like, oh yeah, then there's that thing that happened, and did they orchestrate that, or did it just occur? There are many things that have occurred where I was ganged up on by people who are part of a group, technically, and I would be like the one who's not totally part of the group. Even a surprise birthday party could be an orchestrated effort to gang up on someone. And I have had 2 surprise birthday parties, and in both cases, someone in the sky wanted me to do the math. And they're like, this is what was really going on. You thought, oh, people, I guess, are being thoughtful. I didn't think anyone would ever hold a surprise birthday party for me, because they wouldn't. Unless they had an agenda. So there are 2 surprise birthday parties, and in both cases, perps. People who ganged up on me needed to orchestrate something for some weird agenda or reason. One was through my stepfamily, and it has to do with me being 17 and inviting someone who was older. I turned 18, you know, but I was 17 turning 18, and they invited someone who was like 20 by that point in time, who became somewhat of a boyfriend, and therefore technically there's an argument for statutory rape. And that guy didn't know. I didn't even think about it. That guy didn't know that I was 17, but I'm wondering who did know that it's an issue. And they wanted him to show up, and in a way they were mocking him for not knowing that I was 18. I didn't even think it at the time. Someone had me do the math 30 years later. I actually think he was set up as well, because he just didn't know. Everybody was in college and people hook up, and that's that, you know. And it doesn't matter if it's consensual. When you're 17, you're considered not an adult. So it's considered statutory rape anywhere under 18, and someone's an adult who takes advantage of anyone under 18. So I believe that guy was kind of set up, and you know, their step family members, and I'm wondering if they thought it was funny. Meanwhile, I actually had the flu for that surprise birthday party, and my stepmother, who's now deceased, kept begging me to come over to the house. I'm like, oh my God, I was actually, and that's what the gods will do for me, not them. Someone wanted to make sure I was actually not feeling well. They were sending a message to the sky. Sharon actually has the flu. but someone keeps hounding her to show up. And I felt pressured to show up, not knowing that there was a surprise birthday party scheduled, that they created this little gathering. What most people there weren't even my friends, they were my step-siblings' friends, except for the guy who I was somewhat, not really dating, I was kind of hanging out with and hooking up with by accident in college, like a lot of people did back then. I don't know if they still do. So, point being, it wasn't really a surprise birthday party for me. It was really for their benefit. This is the case often, so I would warn anyone who's on the nice side, who tends not to always be included in things, if someone holds a surprise party for you at all, they could be plotting maniacal people behind your back. There are maniacal people who are plotting behind your back for some agenda, and that's a fact. And someone in the sky wanted to make sure I had the flu, and still they persisted. We need you to come over, we need you to come over, we need you to, oh, please come over, please come over. And I was actually clueless because my brain was way off in another land of, one, I actually had the flu. I was actually sick. I actually didn't feel good. And that's what the gods in the heavens will do for innocent people. And there are people out there who know, they're like, they know something's wrong, and they're like, I feel so bad, you know, I've known situations where it's like, I feel like the gods made me sick to not even show up to work. We don't want you showing up to work, so boom, you will immediately have like an extreme, like volatile throw-up session, which you never do. But the gods will actually help you if you are a good person with good intentions, while a whole bunch of people gang upping you with bad intentions. That's a fact. So I still showed up, but we have proof that the only reason I didn't want to show up is because I actually didn't feel good. I normally stayed on campus, and I actually came home and was at my mom's house or at home, and didn't want to even be on campus. So anyway, a little food for thought. We're hoping there's not a million people here trying to set up a whole thing of how hard is it to get in the door, how many delivery people have to come in, who do you have to hold the door open even though you're not paid to be a bellhop. Anyway, that's it. So have a great day.